this is our first go at it, but we're partially worried that we're just going to get kicked out.
Yeah.
We've been here for 3 days.
Yeah.
5-0 roll up any minute.
Technically, we do own 6 plots?
Yeah.
8 plots.
8.
They go this way,
plots.
though.
And so we've got like 24 square feet.
We've got a quarter acre here.
That if somebody tries to kick us off, we'll say, get off our land.
The generator's definitely not on our property.
Yeah, there's a generator right now. So just for context, we're here at our mother, Pollyanna Sievert's Wardrop's grave on the anniversary of her untimely death.
That was so well put.
Wow.
It was.
So well put.
So her untimely death of colon cancer at the tender age of 39. How old
Like
was
69?
everybody when she died?
How old was that?
How old were you when she died?
I was 6 years old.
Big 1-0. 10.
7.
I was 16, almost 17.
And 14.
And 14. So yeah, I was 16. And so now she's officially been dead for 16 years. So in a couple of months she'll have been
17,
dead. For
right?
you guys that already passed long ago, but she'll have been dead. I will have known her dead longer than I knew her alive.
Yeah, that passed.
Yeah.
That
That
passed.
passed for you a long time ago.
Yeah.
Back in 2008.
Yeah.
Because she died in 2003.
Yeah, that's right.
But we just thought it would be good to just chat about it. I mean, anyone who knows us knows that we joke about it a lot. I think that's a coping mechanism we've used. Is that something that everyone has mutually heard?
Carter kicked her in the colon on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We used to play that game Slug Bug, where you'd say Slug Bug if you see it like a Volkswagen Beetle.
And my
we
right
always
hook
told Carter that
the
he
colon.
punched her one time too hard in the colon. It
That
ended
set it
things.
all off.
Yeah.
Did you ever believe that, Cart?
Did I ever
Did
believe
you ever
that?
believe that you were
I
responsible?
knew that I had a mean southpaw, but I mean, I didn't think it was that effective. So no, I didn't ever believe it because I'm not dumb. But
Yeah. Well,
either that-
that was questionable up until very recently.
I just knew how to handle the ridicule. But yes, for some it is an easy coping mechanism, but for others, I noticed it is kind of offensive. I don't know if you noticed that.
When we make
Oh,
fun of her
yeah.
dying.
Yes, the other day.
Makes
and
people feel
The
very
other day,
awkward.
who? What?
I don't know if I should say it or not.
Yeah, say it.
The other day at Flaming Gorge, and we said something about dead mother or something, and I just remember two of our aunts in particular were just
Yeah.
like, "That's not funny," and I was like, "Whoa!" And I had no idea until
Well,
recently.
And keep in mind, I've thought
That's
too,
their sister.
Yeah, it's their sister. Well, and the thing is, they grew up like we're siblings.
They
right?
knew her for 39 years.
I'm not even 39 yet, so think of me growing, 7 more years, and then me dying. You guys know
And then their little
way better than my kids.
Their
know.
little head kids like, "Yeah, my dad's dead." And you're like, "Hey, easy. I grew up with him."
Yeah, it
So
took
I-
him 2 hours to set up this camera and mic set, so you give him some credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I have thought of that. Like whenever I talk to their aunts and uncles that were siblings of mom, I think you knew her way better than I ever
Yeah.
did.
So no, it was definitely justifiable, but I didn't even think about it until like. My heart kind of sunk when someone said something about it, and I was like, "Oh, whoa, that's oopsie. I should
That's
maybe
probably
be."
the only time that it's actually like struck any kind of chord.
Yeah.
Because I've said jokes like that too and had terrible reactions, but not to the point that I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the worst
yeah,
when you
yeah.
throw it out there expecting to get a laugh, and then they just feel so bad for you, and you're just
Oh,
like,
no. That's why half the time you throw it out there just to make
Yeah,
me feel
or you
bad.
throw it out there thinking it's going to be a joke, and they're like, "Oh, yeah," and then you're like, "I probably should tell them that she's
That she's really dead.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh,
Right.
okay,"
And
and then the whole point of throwing the joke out in the first place kind of
"Yeah,
falls
True.
short.
yeah, it's true."
So maybe we should learn a lesson from that.
Yeah.
And not
Maybe
joke
it's not a
about.
funny
It's all
Yeah.
it's all in humor. That's part of being
Well, and
humorous.
why is it? Why was that? Like, who else? I don't know anyone else really that personally that's dealt with it that way. Like, I know a lot of people that have had family members die, parents die, siblings die, but why is the humor part such a?
I think life's too short to be upset about something that you can't control.
We know it's too short. 39 years in her case.
Boom,
I know.
knows it.
Oh yeah.
Got her.
It's just an
Yeah.
easy way to dismiss it, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a coping method.
Yeah, well, it is coping, but do you think we're all still coping?
No.
Like, how often?
It's like,
But it's better than getting
no.
it's better than being like depressed about it. Like if you brought up, oh well, what did your mom do for you this year? Or someone says something, that they don't know your mom's dead, then like it's better to be able to joke about that and have a positive attitude instead of like wallow in self-pity and say, she's dead, and we don't really talk about that. She didn't get me anything for my birthday this year, as a matter of fact. She hasn't done that for the last 16.
Yeah,
Like,
Mom taught us not to be a PPOM.
Yeah, now PPOMing. I always explain with that acronym. PPOM.
So yeah,
Poor picked on me.
poor picked on
Don't
me.
be a PPOM.
Hated
I don't know if
that.
that was Mom's thing or.
Hated that when I was
Yeah,
a kid.
you
You guys,
used it a lot.
Because Bonnie
PPOM.
always
You
used
don't
it
know
too.
PPOMs around here.
yeah, I hated that.
And you get what you give. Those are the two
Yeah,
that I
you
remember
get
from
what you
Mom.
what you get.
And so
Yeah.
that's part of it. I think if we make humor out of this,
And she said cancer never killed anyone. What's another Dr. Pepper?
Knocking it back, which is one of the memories I do have. Like,
Yeah.
I do remember in her, she had a colostomy bag, towards the end, as
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember she was losing her taste. And
Yep.
so she would drink Dr. Pepper, and I always thought it was super weird, which, this is an overshare. I mean, welcome to the Wardrop family. It's TMI Central. And, if we keep on doing this, you're going to get a lot more information. But she had that colostomy bag, and she'd drink it, and then it would be cold on her hip all of a sudden because it would just go right in.
I remember that too, and I remember going down to Grandma's one
fill
time.
the can back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was nice. I actually put
You had
one of
a
those
s-
twirly
Yeah,
straws
yeah,
right
yeah.
down into her colostomy bag, and she didn't know the
Yeah.
difference.
It
It might have sped up her.
never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just drank until it was warm.
What were you gonna say, Cart?
No, that's one of the memories that I remember too. Going down to Grandma's and her colostomy bag broke or something, and I remember she just spilled all over herself.
Yeah.
And she had to change her clothes because she had spilled everything.
Yeah,
And I always thought-
How
Yeah.
embarrassing! If
Yeah.
you think getting your period wearing white pants is bad, try having your colostomy bag explode
Yeah.
at a family gathering.
Yeah, exactly.
Full of poop.
So gross.
And I'm pretty sure one of you told me is like that's because she has holes in her stomach and it
Oh,
just
she did?
it just leaks out of her. And I was like, well, I don't think that's
Lie about that.
Technically.
I don't think that's
Exit.
right.
Yeah,
Or
I
on the
remember one
side.
time you were only 5, so you went up and you just blew like a balloon, and your
Yeah.
stomach just went.
I was still breastfeeding at the time, so
Yeah,
I had multiple holes
Yeah,
to go
you're like,
to.
this is an interesting.
That one tastes like an egg.
Yeah. I got
Eggo
sick of the
waffle.
milk, and I was like, I need some Dr. Pepper in my life. So yeah.
I remember her very distinctly sitting up one day when I went up to her bathroom to probably slick my hair back with gel.
That $5 stuff from Walmart.
I walked in, the LA
Licks.
yeah,
Heck
yeah,
yeah,
baby.
baby.
huge jar of it, just goop your hand in
Oh,
and
yeah.
wave it back. And I remember walking in when she was really super sick, and she popped straight up out of bed. And
like a
just,
zombie.
Yo,
Yeah,
it was
corpse out
it,
of the ground.
It truly was terrifying because it's like this 85-year-old woman trapped in my mom's body.
Yeah,
and she
I
just
remember
pops up. She's like, Jake, go get me some milk. I need milk. And so I finished slicking my hair and
And she had a death grip on your neck.
what?
I need some milk.
Squeezing my trachea.
Okay.
I'm getting it, Mom. Just chill. And I punched her in the colon.
Again.
Let her release
Throws her colostomy bag.
the release point. I ran downstairs and I just said, I got to get Mom some milk. And we're trying to go down to the bus. And I remember my dad taking it from me. He's
I
like,
don't think
she,
Mom likes this.
Yeah,
Her
that's
light's
her.
moving,
she's
and all of a
giving
sudden
us
her light just started swaying.
she can't.
Slinging,
Take a
slashing.
joke, Mom.
She can't drink that milk. Is what Dad said.
Joe, she couldn't. I remember. I don't know what you guys remember is your last moment with her, but I remember, which is kind of sad now. But I remember going up the night before she died.
Mm-hmm.
Did she call everybody in?
Yeah.
I mean, you were too young. She'd
I
written you
remember
off a
her
long time
telling us
ago.
all,
Not that I
like,
remember.
telling us all good luck at school the next day. 'Cause it wasn't like the first day of school or
Uh-huh.
something like that. It was like within the first couple weeks of school or something.
It was my
Yeah, it
first
was the
day.
first
My
couple
first,
weeks of
my
school.
first day of
Yeah.
kindergarten. She
I just
died.
remember saying
Your first day of
My
kindergarten.
first
Yeah.
day, you guys picked me up.
Which is crazy because Graham, my son, just started kindergarten
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Wow.
Or
Yeah.
3 days ago.
Teddy
Yeah,
starts preschool in a week.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
more.
yeah, we didn't really do good.
But your first day of kindergarten.
my first day of kindergarten, I remember
She
I
bit the
got
dust.
there and I was like pumped, and then yeah, I remember.
You had like your crayons sharpened.
Yeah, I remember I didn't want to leave, and you came and picked me up.
So,
So
yeah, go, Jake.
I don't. So she called us all in for a meeting.
Well, no, I
the
just
night before?
she called
it was
me
like
in.
Final meeting.
It
Kinda
wasn't
like,
really even. It wasn't together.
She had
No,
scheduled
no,
to
I
die.
remember
so-
coming in like after.
It was individual.
I was I
That's-
was there by
on your
myself.
mic. You're good.
I don't
You're good,
remember
you're
any of that.
But yeah, that too. That'll pick up. Yeah. So she called me in the night before, and she didn't say anything because she hadn't said anything. Actually, Tony said something interesting. Uncle Tony, my mom's brother, said something interesting to me at Flaming Gorge. She said she just distanced herself from you kids more than it was just super interesting for us as siblings to watch. So apparently, like the siblings noticed her, like build a wall between us and her because she was trying to make her
see like
make her
Super
departure.
sad.
Yeah, it is
That's
super
sad.
sad. But yeah, she called me in the night before,
I'm sure she didn't.
which I hadn't talked to her for probably close to a month. Like I would give her meds and I would do stuff for her.
I remember being quick stuff. Like we didn't have to spend a lot of time.
Yeah, but it was just more. Yeah, it was more like routine. Like give her this and that, this and that. But yeah, she called me, or Dad came and got me. I think I was sleeping in your room, Mel. But if I remember right, but I remember walking from your room in the hallway and going in there, and then she just grabbed my hand, and she just went like a zombie. And it was very creepy, but at the time it was sweet, and I cried really hard. But it was like, I'm gonna die really soon. Is basically what it was. So anyway, I have that memory, which I will never forget, because it was like, oh crap, this is communicating, which was interesting. I've reflected on it a lot as an adult, like,
That's so crazy.
of like, she was definitely communicating with me without having to use many words, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I only have the milk story, so that's.
but nothing else happened? There was no like final, it was
No.
just give me the milk.
Just give the milk, and then it was like, you're the second child anyway, so.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
oh wait. That'll be another episode. Jake's second
Second
child issues.
child.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have anything like that. I don't remember anything like that. Final
I remember
days.
the day it happened very, very
Oh
clearly.
my gosh.
Oh, me too.
Like,
She's going.
swinging.
Sorry, of course the wind picks up right now. It's
Slash.
been so quiet and
Slash.
so. When this
Slash.
adds to the
Slash.
haunting effect.
Yeah.
We've been here
of,
for 4.5
what's
hours
this
setting
like?
up.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into putting a couch in the cemetery. It turns out.
Or 3.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
drive me nuts.
Where's it?
It's good. I mean, it's gonna keep on going.
I was gonna say we just put the cord over it to give it some light.
Yeah.
I could probably count all of my mom memories on one hand, and that's not due to the fact that I can't count very
You're
high.
only 6.
Yeah.
You're only 6, so maybe those.
One hand only gives you 5
Yeah.
counts. So.
But I remember Brett Richens coming into seminary.
I'm gonna
And-
put it on the ground. Sorry.
And shooting mom in the face.
Yeah.
So violent.
And he just kind of like stepped in. He's like, Jake, your mom's dead, so I don't know what you want to do.
You did not say it like
No, my.
No, Brett was very. He was crying, and he was standing in the doorway.
Now we really look like we're telling haunted stories, Brady.
Yes, it's like we're all holding it underneath our face.
Hey.
I feel the shadow of my eye, my cheeks.
So
and
I just
eyes.
looked at Jake and I was like, I'm terrified. I was terrified. I looked at
Yeah,
you.
maybe this is good, but it adds to
little
the
ghoulish looking.
ambiance.
Keep in mind, this is our first attempt at this, and I was quite certain it was gonna suck.
Yeah, well,
And they also
after
decided
the
to
fact,
do it in the middle of nowhere with
Yeah,
no
I
power
told people
on
about
a
this
freaking
idea at
Graveside.
2 p.m.
Yeah.
and we were supposed to do it
At
in a
2 p.m.
We were supposed to do it in an office, and then
I
you're
think I
like,
got wind of it at like 5:45.
Regardless, we're here, and yes, it's a little creepy, and hey, at least we're shooting with a cool camera.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't been up this late.
Thanks
in
to
months.
Chris Tunbridge. Shout out to Chris Tunbridge for letting us
Shout
use
out, Chris.
his
Right,
red.
okay, Jake,
his red. Okay.
finish your story about Brett coming in.
Oh yeah, let's
This is at school.
Let's
So
recount
you
on
were-
the
yeah,
day
so I was
that
in
Mom
seminary.
died. Mom
Seminary.
died.
Were
Everybody
you in
goes.
that class with me too?
I was in seminary, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think maybe we
I
were.
think he came in and got both of us out.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I need both the
Well, no, it
Wardrops.
came over the speaker.
No, Brett came in personally.
Okay, then I wasn't with you because I have a different story.
Yeah, Brett came in personally. Was standing in the doorway.
I was with Brett.
I'm pretty sure you were with
yes,
Brett.
yes. Okay,
And
so then my
and-
story precedes this.
Yes, and so then both crying. Obviously, I knew what happened at that point. I started crying, and I remember Brett saying, like, "Do you guys want me to drive you home?" And hell no, we're not going to show you where we live.
Yeah, I remember that.
No
Too.
way.
I remember him
It's like,
saying,
we don't
"Could you
think your
want me to drive you
van
home?"
can
And I
make-
was like,
We don't think your van can make it up the guardrail hill.
Don't you have
No
36
offense, Brett.
You have 36.
You were
kids
very
sitting home.
nice. That was
Are you
I.
thinking of the same Brett Richards?
Yeah, Brett
Yeah,
Richards.
yeah.
He was
Yeah,
he was
vice
vice
principal,
principal at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Bert.
So Jerry was the principal.
Right.
But
He
there you
was
go,
vice
Jerry and Brett, or Brett specifically. You're locked into the Wardrop kids'
Yeah.
memory because you
you've
were part
made
of
it.
our mother's death.
You've made it.
I was in seminary and I got a
Hey.
message.
And he got a
over
smoke
the-
signal.
Yeah.
Because he's-
Somebody was flashing me with a mirror outside in the bushes. And I was like, what is it? And then there was a sign that said, your mom is dead. And I was like, oh, great.
It was the cheerleaders holding up signs.
Go! Your mom's, dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was Kathy Chappell. I'm pretty sure it could have been Brett, but whoever it was like had a cackly, not a cackly, but like a crackling, like is Braden in there? And they're like, yeah. It's like, could you send him to the office, please? And so I went to the office and I got there and Kathy Chappell was crying, and then I was like, uh-oh. And then she put me in Jerry's office and shut the door behind me, and the phone was on the desk.
And
Oh,
then,
like off the hook.
And it was from the
And so I
underworld.
picked it up, and his dad, and he was super crying, like, "Mom's gone. You just grab your siblings and come on home." And then
that's-
he asked me like how I felt right then. So like he was already
uh-oh.
doing a good job, I think, as a dad. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
so-
telling you this, but anyway, yeah. So then that's when I walked over to get you
Yep.
with Brett,
Yep.
and it was a weird, awkward walk with him.
Oh, I
Again,
feel-
no offense, Brett, but it was like,
It's
this
like-
is weird.
He's
Well-
power walking and crying at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's no easy way to do that.
yeah. That's a hard
And like,
that's a hard walk.
Summit's got a tough team this year.
Like, so did you get any good bucks this year?
Yeah.
See the new
I don't
Beast
hunt.
The only thing that's dead
I'm
right
wearing
now.
Nikes.
Only thing that's dead in my garage right now is my mom.
Exactly. Oh, so and then, what about you and Ellie?
I remember you coming
Did you
over.
just kick over the one thing you're not supposed to kick over?
Yeah, I
It's
did.
like, oops, the mic.
I remember.
Well, no, wait.
yeah,
let me
go
first.
down the order. So,
So then-
Jake, Braden.
So Braden got Jake. Then Jake and Braden both came and picked me up from Mrs. Wagner's. I was her personal assistant. That
Oh,
hour,
yeah, I wish I
hour.
was.
And I was just like, no, I don't want to go. I just remember like being very adamant. I didn't want to leave.
Because you were picked as the personal assistant.
Yeah, because I was.
Because you kind of had the responsibility. that day.
Yes, yes.
So I
and
got
that was
pi-
my hour to reboot all the computers, which is what I was doing. And then I remember walking out, and it was just like a flood, like released. As soon as we walked through the door, by the time we got to the center of the kiva, every teacher from the whole place came over there to us.
Yeah, that's what happened to me too.
And then we got into the Jeep after that, and I don't.
Pleasure of
everything else
living
is
in
black
the small
until
town.
we get home.
Yeah.
Okay, Ellie, then you go from
Yeah,
your.
that-
You tie it together from there.
Well, that's what I thought too. I remember I was in second grade at the time. I think I was in Mrs. Adkins' class, and Braden came to get me, and I was really confused. I remember being very confused because he didn't tell me what was happening. He's just like, "Hey, you need to come home." So I left class, and I'm still very like confused. And then I see it's almost like a movie. Like all the teachers and students like crowd the doors and the windows. They're like all looking at us. And then I'm like, "Oh!" I realized.
I
what
wonder
happened.
I wonder if anyone remembers looking out at us leaving the day our
Yeah,
moms
like
died.
orphan,
I was
those orphan
there.
Wardrop kids.
Like, oh, all they got is their dad. Well,
Yeah, like, yeah, they are
Screwed.
screwed.
and then from there,
I know.
I know.
Little did we know.
We love
and
you.
I don't really remember from that. I remember, I think, what you guys told me, but I know like I just barely got into kindergarten, and then Mrs. Judd was my teacher, I think, and you guys just came and picked me up, and I remember specifically like getting home and being excited to go home and ride my 4-wheeler.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You're like,
too.
guys,
I remember being so
yeah.
pissed at
I remember
you.
Tanner being genuinely
I
mad.
was
Like,
so
Carter, mom's
pissed.
dead. I'd be like, so is that a no on the 4-wheeler?
So
or-
can I take the
I was like,
photo?
So does that mean like you're gonna be busy?
Yeah, it's
I
like,
was
so I'll be
so
back in 15 minutes instead of 30. But I genuinely remember, like, I'm pretty sure everyone was upstairs, and I was 6 years
Yeah,
old
you're,
driving
like,
around on my
zooming on the
4-wheeler.
Oh, that's probably better than I remember going upstairs
Yeah, me
and
too.
walking in there, and everyone kind of got their moment with the
Yeah,
the carcass.
You remember
The carcass that is now below our feet.
Yeah.
We
Blow
think.
your butts.
Well, do you remember Becky was in there clipping Dad's freaking toenails? That's the first thing I saw when I walked
Ew.
in the door.
Wow, Becky, that is love.
You've always pushed the envelope there.
It's like, well, Mom used to do that for me, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was my most vivid memory. Then walking over, and she was still in the chair.
So you're walking in, and it's like, "Hey, Ten." Becky's clipping
Yeah,
Dad's
Dad's
toenails, and
like-
Mom's dead
and
on
I'm
the
just,
bed.
yeah, I'm just
I
like,
just grilled some hot dogs.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like,
Oh, your mother's right over there.
Yeah.
She's got a half hot dog in her
Just
hand.
has
She won't let go of the hot
A
dog.
She
Dr.
just has
Pepper, Dr.
two 50-cent pieces on her eyes.
She's got cucumbers on her eyes.
She hasn't moved in a while.
Yeah.
She's enjoying her hot dog.
Yeah, and then I also remember the paddy wagon coming, and they zipped her up and
Oh
put her
yeah,
in the
that
back
was,
of
I
the.
don't
was
remember
like
any of
Comes
that.
the
surreal
meat
to me.
Wagon.
Yeah,
like, yeah, you guys need some help?
Carter just does his little burn.
Yeah, I was
out
like,
in
hey,
front of
watch
him.
this, watch this. And I could wheelie it a little bit.
He's gonna be the lost cause. Was that the Predator 90?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah,
the
that
Predator
was
that
super
Dad
cool.
switched in the big
Freaking,
Polaris
yeah.
800. We had a Polaris 800 that everyone could drive, and we went to Weller's one day, and I was like, Dad, I want that one, because it went in for maintenance, our Polaris 800 did. And I was like, Dad, I really want that little Predator 90. And he's like, okay. And he asked the guy, he's like, hey, can we switch our 800 for this 90? And the guy was like, sure. Of course. And I got a key. And then there was like all up to myself. This four-wheeler that was all to myself.
Super tiny.
For Carter, his memories are deeper, more vivid about four-wheelers than they are.
Yeah,
about our mother,
exactly.
Definitely enjoys the material things.
Well, and I
Mom's
think
not
of that
anymore.
too. Like I always think, because we're 10 years apart, oldest to youngest. Which you're right, we didn't really introduce ourselves. Oldest, second, third, fourth, fifth, but 10 years between Carter and I, oldest and youngest. And I always think, if I died today, Graham would have memories of me, but very few.
Oh, I thought the same thing today.
Very few.
I text Dad.
But Nora would have even less. Max would have never knew I existed.
No,
other than pictures.
I texted Dad today and said, hey, your wife died 16 years ago today. And he said, yeah, that's
I thought it
true.
was 17.
Nope.
16. 2003.
2003.
Okay.
It's
Plus
2019.
Very good. I was 10, so I'm 27 now. 17.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but you'll turn.
I must have just turned 10.
Yeah.
Anyway, I text Dad, and I said, your wife died today 16 years ago. And he said...
Which
Thumbs
one?
up.
Which one?
Thumbs up emoji.
No, he said that's crazy. Like, that was your mom too, and like it kind of hit me like super crazy. Like I didn't really think of it that way, which is kind of dumb to
Yeah,
say.
you came out of her uterus.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of dumb to say,
Her
but
uterus
is
is
underneath
actually
us.
still in there, unless she had a hysterectomy that I wasn't aware of. But she, I was reading about the embalming process the other day.
Oh yeah, because
'Cause I was like-
I told you I thought
Yeah, because I was
all
like,
the
do they
organs
take
were
your
pulled
organs out? But
Oh,
they
yeah,
don't.
no.
They
She's
just
an
organ donor.
formaldehyde it, basically.
Yeah.
She was an
But
organ
yeah,
donor
so the
for human
uterus,
cancer.
all of us
Yeah.
actually came out. Yeah, but that isn't. Yeah,
Cancer-ridden, you can't-
cancer, and then also, even if you're an organ donor,
And she smoked 5 packs a day.
yeah,
Yeah.
she had 5 Dr. Peppers a day, so her kidneys were
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that uterus is buried right below us that we all slid out of at one point.
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
pretty
Dig it up.
crazy.
Or were taken out of in your case because you're a
Yeah.
C-section.
Yeah, I was the
baby.
last one. Just tore that thing to shreds.
That's because you were a big freaking mistake.
Yeah, and I just was yanking on that colon. I
Yeah,
was coming
exactly.
Out.
It's like, no!
A couple
That's
more
just-
months.
No
Um,
life, and if you should have been here. Or not.
What about,
Yeah.
best memory as far as,
If I wasn't here,
if you were thinking of something like mom?
best memories, the limo ride to her funeral. I genuinely remember being stoked to be in a limo.
I felt the same
I was
way.
like, we are in a limo right
Going
now,
from
guys.
one ship to Salt Lake.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Yeah, that was a
And
big deal.
We were spacing each other, and I was like, no other car
We were
does
coming
this.
from Wanchip to right here. And I took my, you know how you have your boutonniere, or what do they call
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, but
I had that pin, and I stuck it in this tree.
Yeah, I
right here.
remember.
And it's
right
still
in the
there.
crack.
It's still
That's
there.
right.
But yeah,
But
it's
the
lasted a
bead's
long
gone.
time. Yeah, the bead's gone. It's just the metal
Just the
stick.
metal.
Yeah, the black beads on.
That's crazy.
Favorite
that
memory
too.
though, I literally, like I said, I could count them on one hand. I remember driving through the canyon from Wanchip to Park City, and she asked me for a couple of M&Ms, and I said, how much is a couple? And she said 3 or 4, and that's like,
Which was incorrect. That's 2.
Yeah.
It's supposed
Yeah.
to be 2. A few is 3 or 4.
and I was like,
Come on,
well,
Mom.
Mom, I think your brain's going, and also your colon.
And she was like, oh, Carter.
And she was
You're
driving on the
5-year-old.
other side of the road.
You guys are messed up.
She's reversing down the freeway.
And I should have known, but I was just so young.
Cute.
I should have known.
Not even looking. Hey, can I have a couple of those?
Just give me a couple.
How many's a couple? Whoa, Carter.
It's like, Mom, these are
Pedestrians.
Skittles. These are Skittles, not M&Ms.
Same thing.
These are pills.
Yeah, no, these are
Tylenol.
yeah.
What about you, Tan?
I honestly the only one that I can ever really conjure up is his mom physically abusing me.
One of those.
I guess I have
I
one.
was gonna be my next thing was gonna be, what about a bad memory?
I have one of those too.
But she, I was just in those giggly moods I used to get in as a kid, and
I remember this
I
very
was
well.
sucking down a Slurpee, and she just had enough. She reached over and just slapped me across the back of the head. Slurpee all over the windshield. I just exploded.
The excursion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Oh,
was
the
just so
excursion.
pissed.
I think she said, she's like, retard.
Yeah, she did say
Slapped
that.
him in the back of the head and just
Quit being a retard.
That was back when the R word
Yeah, it was
used
acceptable.
more openly, and
I'm pretty
you
sure
know,
she was pumped full of chemo at the juncture too.
No, she wasn't. This was
Yeah,
all
no.
prior.
No, this was, I think.
I don't. Yeah, I guess
I don't
maybe
know.
not. Yeah, maybe.
I think we were coming home from the
Because my
doctor
memory,
one day.
she wasn't sick. You know, my good memories and my bad
Yeah,
ones.
I can't distinguish.
I mean, she
between
was
the
sick
two.
on some bad ones too.
Other than
What about you, El?
we took pictures.
Sick and twisted.
I don't know. I honestly don't have very many memories of Mom. It'll come and go sometimes sporadically, and I think it's a memory or something I made up. But I do always remember the way she smelled, and I remember trying to track down her perfume for a very long time. and I finally.
You mean
did.
in adulthood?
Yeah, I finally did. I wear it now. I have it. It's a Ralph Lauren. I don't have it on.
Oh, that's what that.
Yeah, you smell sweaty.
I hiked a lot.
Yeah, that's
I
what
just
that
got back
colon
from the
smell is.
No,
Yeah.
but that's one thing I remember very distinctly. So I remember anytime I ever caught a whiff of that, I was like, that smells like my mom, and so I had to find it.
You'll have to wear it because I don't know if that would bring it back to me.
I vaguely remember the smell, but I'd have to smell it too.
And I remember the bottle too, so it's still the exact same. And I'll have to wear it next time I come over.
But you don't have like a.
You don't have like a memory of
Actual
her
memory.
saying of interacting with you,
No, I
Same.
don't. I've like there's
which
a
is
lot
super
of.
weird.
I know. I
She
just
probably
can't
never
think of
spent time with her only
anything
daughter.
at the moment. Yeah, I know. I don't.
Like I
drawing
think
a
of your
blank.
baby book, and I think of you with lots of pictures with her.
Do you guys like?
But you were really small.
Do
You
you
were
remember
little.
what her voice sounded like? Any of you?
She used to have her voicemail set up.
Yeah, I
And I called it for like
Oh,
2
yeah.
years.
Yeah,
you
and I
could call
never
it.
deleted
That's
it off the phone.
It's gone now.
That's right. I
Yeah.
do remember actually. Now that you're saying that, I remember the first time
That
I
she had a thick
drive
Southern
down.
accent.
No.
She's like, hey y'all,
Oh, these the
just want to let you know I got colon cancer.
These gonna be the white ones, the white flowers.
No. I was. You guys needed the 4-wheeler to get home from school, and I was terrified, petrified to drive the 4-wheeler down that hill from our one-ship home. So Mom drove right next to me in her excursion, and there's a picture of me out the window of her car, and I'm holding on to the handles of the red 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Drove it down to the bottom, and then she drove me back home. But I remember that being a very scary experience for me.
That's
There you
cute
go.
of Mom.
That is cute, Mom.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I
Um,
can think of.
I don't have I have a physical abuse one as well. Sorry, Mom. She wasn't abusive, but it's just funny.
Most impactful though.
Yeah, they're impactful. I was being a super smart ass. I know I was.
I
And
remember this very well. too.
well, no, that you're talking about the one where Dad fell.
Was it Dad that fell? Or
Yeah,
Mom that
no,
fell?
Dad
it was
fell.
Dad.
I
Was he
called
chasing
Mom
you?
a bad name of some sort, and so Dad
Probably
chased
like
me.
a bug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dad
Yeah.
came cooking
It wasn't
on
like
that
a bad
door.
name.
Yeah.
Just bleep us out.
Yeah.
I called Mom up. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, it wasn't like a 2019.
No,
like,
like, you
I
probably told
I
Mom
wouldn't
to
even know
shut
what
up or
what a
something.
bitch was. I wouldn't have said that. I would. I think I told her to shut up.
Yeah, I remember doing that one time.
I think I said shut up, and so Dad chased me,
Yeah.
and then
remember
I.
that day.
But
all
we
the
were
way
going
around
up.
the house
We were
now.
all around the house. Yeah, but I grabbed onto the middle banister where the green
Yeah.
stairs were,
Yeah,
and
I
ran up,
remember
and I
vividly
used
watching this.
the banister to like
Yeah, yeah,
pivot
yeah,
and
yeah,
turn,
yeah.
and Dad had socks on and
And
slipped
Mom
on the
was-
tile.
Yeah, he
Mom was waiting there with the frying pan,
Swung
swung at you.
Smack Dad.
Yeah,
Like Tom and Jerry.
swung at you. You ducked. He smacked.
No, I
Dad.
had the best system because apparently I got in trouble all the time. So I ran outside and I knew Dad was pissed off enough that he was going to lock the doors on me. Which this had never happened, but I just had this feeling like if I run out now, he's going to lock the doors on me. So I ran out the back door, down the basement, in, and then hid under my own bed. And then Dad
Never
came running
looked
in,
there.
looked in, and locked all the doors. And was like, you can come back in when you tell your mom sorry.
Aw.
But no, my story was I was being super yappy in the car, and I totally deserved it, but she just kind of like backhanded me joking. She was laughing at my joke, and she's like, "Shut up!" And she went like this, and she hit me, but she had her wedding ring on,
Oh yeah.
and she
I remember
gouged
telling
my
me.
face, and it started bleeding, and she was like almost crying. She was felt so bad
That's
that
awesome.
she had hit me.
Blood
Oh,
diamond.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, blood diamond. Exactly.
Oh, man.
But other than that, I just remember talking with her. I remember she was very like my friends would always come over. I think all of our friends were this way, but my friends would opt to come to our house after school, and rather than like playing video games or whatever, we would frequently just sit on the countertop in the kitchen, and Mom and Dad would both be there, and we would just talk about all sorts of random stuff. So I remember her being super engaged and always asking Grant and Joel and Matt, "What are you guys doing? What's going on? How's school?" And she was always
so
just
cool.
bubbly and
You still dating that girl?
interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, they always liked talking to her. They were always very
Never
open.
dated anybody.
Except, yeah,
That was like a Nicole thing. Like, you
Yeah.
taking Patsy still? But,
I'm married.
yeah. Sorry, hopefully that didn't cause too much trouble with the audio. But
No, I know.
What about you, Jay?
I remember a couple different times. I'm the manliest of the whole family, so I'm the only one that's ever owned any guns or own any guns now that are worth anything.
Carter has a 22.
What?
But I
I
bought
have numerous Nerf guns.
Yeah, Brady's got a Nerf gun. Ellie's got.
Pretty sure I got a shotgun.
Tabasco
and a
sauce.
22 in
Yeah,
there.
you know when someone has to start their sentence off as "I'm the manliest one," it's usually the other way around. But
It's,
it's,
Oh,
you know,
my God.
it's
whatever.
shady territory.
Whatever. You're
I
lucky
don't
I'm
pick up any weights.
I used to have a shirt that I actually bought with Mom.
I remember that.
Yeah,
It's
welcome
about
to the
Green,
gun show.
got your tickets to the gun
Yeah.
show,
Oh, yeah.
which is the douchiest thing ever.
That's
Just like
right.
the.
And I was the most weak, anemic,
Yeah, so you're
small
the,
individual.
I had no. gun.
I had no business wearing that shirt.
It worked worked perfectly because it like didn't fit those
Yeah,
grades.
counteracted.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's
those
true.
those are supposed to be tight
It
on
was
your
like-
arms,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to look like a little noodles through there.
Yeah.
It's like you got kicked by My
Yeah,
Little
to
Pony.
get
in the
your
back of your
tickets to the ramen noodle show. More or less. That's what I should have said.
Oh, so
Just ramen
stupid.
noodles.
It's late.
What
and
were you gonna
delirious.
say?
Yeah,
But
go
I
ahead, Jake.
remember getting a new 270 big deer rifle,
Oh, yeah.
huge rifle, and we were all on the back porch,
Mm-hmm.
minus mom. Mom was in the house.
Mom was up on the hill and you were aiming at her.
Watch out for your colon. No, but mom was in the kitchen.
She's dressed
and-
like a deer.
That's what I was just saying. She's wearing antlers.
Yeah.
And we all shot the gun off the back porch. I mean, it's loud as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember just like reverberating against the brick because
Yeah, I
we're
remember
right
this.
there on the porch.
It was like an oak gun. Like
Yeah,
it was like a
it was like a
light colored wood.
wood, yeah,
Yeah.
light oak,
Yeah.
chrome barrel, sick.
Yeah, I remember
Wish I
this.
still had it.
I remember how loud it was.
It was so
And
loud.
being
The
afraid of
bullets
it,
were
like
that
I still
big.
am of guns.
Yes, you are. And anyway, mom came out like nobody's business. Like, hey, let me see that thing. I want to shoot that thing. It doesn't sound so bad. Puts one in. And she's like, oh my goodness.
Kill the bear.
She shot the neighbor kid, but we didn't
No
talk
one
about
liked
that.
him.
Yeah. Shot a neighbor kid in a bear suit.
Yeah.
Went to go skin him open.
And we had told, Dustin that he
Yeah, I was like-
shouldn't be roaming around our shooting range in that bear suit.
Yeah, exactly.
We know
It was
furries.
his own damn fault.
We know
Well, he-
furries are gonna catch on here in 2018, 19, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
aren't
he
yet.
loved to play.
Sorry, Jay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it was. So that
Aw.
was. I mean, mom coming out to shoot the gun was super funny to me. That she just came out and did that and blew her eardrums and then walked inside.
And
Like,
then I think she was doing chewing tobacco at the time, right?
She
shot it.
definitely- she definitely was chewing at the time, and then heavy whiskey problem.
Yeah. Then she
She's been hitting
grabbed
the
a whiskey
bottle
bottle.
pretty
Pink.
She throws it up in the
Yeah,
air
threw it up in the air.
and
Exactly.
lights her cigarette on the end of the barrel.
Lit the whole hillside on
Oh,
fire.
man. One
Yep.
thing I remember about mom too, I don't think this ever happened to me because I'm the golden child, but that you guys always got Tabasco or soap in
Oh,
your
yeah.
mouths.
I got soap
for
sometimes.
same.
I don't know if I got soap.
And I had like a whole tablespoon of
I saw
Tabasco.
sparkles.
Yeah.
This is more abuse stories. Sorry, Mom.
I don't know if I got
It was a
soap
different
from-
time.
I don't know if I got soap from Mom or if I got soap from Angie when she was watching Aunt Angie.
Yeah.
When she was
Thanks
watching
a lot, Angie.
Mom with us.
It's a
I think I
Texas
said
thing.
I think I said damn or something. And I don't know. I don't know. They look so similar to me. I don't know who. But I remember they went to that really weird dark cubby room with all those little signs hanging. You know?
The
Oh,
Chucky.
in the mud room.
Yeah, in that mud room.
Yeah. Hey, that's the room where we got abused, all of us.
Yeah.
We all
That was
got
the
hit in that room.
that was the abuse bathroom.
That was definitely
The
got
mud. Yes, you were in the
soap
mud room.
pumped
In the
into
mud
your
room,
mouth.
yep. And I
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
yep, pumping
Right.
soap in my mouth, and I like just remember the taste so well. And like this sucks.
Yeah, I remember Tabasco, and I remember seeing sparkles.
Yeah.
It was when we were building the Wanchip house. We were actually in the Glenna basement,
Oh, wow.
the Glenna Drive house in the basement,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was in that kitchen, and I was just like, "Whoa, is this what being on DMT is like?"
No, it's not. So let me talk to you a little bit about DMT.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I never got anything in my mouth as a foreign object.
Oh, I got Tabasco. I got soap. I got them
Yeah,
all.
just
Let's
that.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
Even in my adulthood, I haven't.
But I also remember Mom
Being a real
explicitly telling me and Jake we just gotten blowguns, and she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Tanner,
Oh,
you can
Oh,
shoot any
man.
animal you want, but if you shoot my hummingbirds,
Because you had a
I-
hummingbird feeder.
Yes, she had a hummingbird feeder outside. She said, "You shoot my hummingbirds,
I will end you."
I will take that
I will
blowgun and break it."
I will
And
end
I
my
was like,
life.
Okay, like I won't do it. And sure enough, I've always listened to my elder brother. Jake's like, "We'll
Kill
put
it.
a paintball in there, and you won't hurt it. Like it'll just pop on it. I guarantee you won't even hit it."
you're gonna turn it
Sure
blue.
enough,
Sharpshooter.
freaking
Yeah, seriously.
Crack
nailed
shot.
it. As soon as it puts its little nose inside there, broke its neck.
I thought you zipped a freaking needle through.
no,
it.
I hit it with a paintball.
Okay, I thought you
No.
skewered the thing.
The
No,
needle
I-
would have been cooler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Sad.
I hit her with a paintball, and then she came home and she's like, "Tanner, I'm really mad at you." And then she walked up to the steps, grabbed my blowgun, and just went, snapped
right
it.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Crazy woman.
Follow through.
Yeah, no kidding.
I remember Mom getting pretty upset one time when we did that. I'm trying to. She had just came
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
In the basement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she said, "Hey,
Yeah.
you started without me. I take the first rip. We know the rule."
Bombsky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was it?
I'm trying to think of what it was now. Tanner's blowgun, killing stuff,
Breaking over knee.
breaking over knee.
While you're thinking of that, I do.
remember, you chasing Jake up the stairs with the fork, and the fork going through the wall.
And Jake hucking a
Well,
double
say
A
who-
battery at my head.
well,
Ducked and it broke
Broke
that
the
light
light
switch.
switch. Yeah,
No,
I
it
thought it was
wasn't
a
a
Hot
Oh, yeah.
Hot Wheels car.
Yeah,
I remember the
thought it
broken
was
light
Hot
switch.
Yeah, we never fixed
I also
it.
threw the DSL remote at Braden right down those steps to the basement as hard as I could. Put a nice hole in the wall right
Yeah,
there, and
we had
Dad
some
hung up
good
a picture
holes.
So many
instead.
holes
over
in
it.
the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of
Also,
pictures.
punched a hole in the wall or two in the basement.
Yeah, so did Tanner.
I remember Dad and Mom always wrestling.
I remember giving
And,
Dad the
I was
splinters.
always like, hey. No.
And Dad was always winning.
Put your clothes on, Dad. Mom,
Dad always seemed to be winning.
Mom's saying no.
No. This was like spontaneous,
Oh my God.
clothed in the living room. Like they'd get into a little joking argument and then they'd wrestle each other, and then we'd join in.
As adults now, we know they're trying to fornicate.
Yeah,
It's called
yeah, that
foreplay.
probably spooning led to forking probably later.
It was always into the wee hours of the night. Mom and Dad were always wrestling.
My bomb
always-
resin has worn off, and now I can remember.
They
my
always
story.
put that.
okay.
And we were all outside mowing the lawn, doing all of our chores like great children. And there was a monarch butterfly, big, fat,
Oh, I
orange,
remember this,
beautiful
too.
butterflies that were flying around. And Mom said, same lines as Tanner, like, don't you guys kill those, or don't hurt the butterflies or anything, because they're just stupidly landing on the rock right next to me as I'm trimming with the weed whacker. And so one flew over, and I just kind of like flipped my weed whacker up like that, and shredded
Oh
it.
man.
And I remember Mom
was
losing
so
her
mad.
mind
It
on
was on
that.
its way to Mexico. I just learned this from watching a bug documentary with Graham. Monarch butterflies that come through the Rockies
That's a slow journey.
down to Mexico. I know.
That's a
Yeah.
slow journey.
You don't see it very often.
That's
That's-
crazy.
Yeah, but they did. I remember them wrestling all the time, and like jokingly and always talking to each other. Obviously, I think they had a pretty good relationship. If I were to have to diagnose it based on my limited
I
understanding,
was gonna say, I wish I
they talked a lot,
remembered more.
and they talked to us a
Yeah.
lot.
I remember
you
them
know-
fighting much, other than the
Oh.
Zions Canyon.
I'm gonna back up to the Zions Canyon thing.
Yeah.
Mom accidentally led Dad through there, and I'm pretty sure
That was
he
the
hit
best.
it.
That was.
No, he did not hit her.
Yeah, Dad always
right in the colon.
he put his rings on for that.
He's like, hand me the brass knuckles.
He's
I always
never-
thought it was weird there was brass knuckles in the glove box on Mom's side, and she was always shaking.
Yeah,
Had to
Dad.
smell
I asked Dad about that the other day. He's like, I think there's only 2 times that I can remember ever getting mad at your mom, and he's like, and one of them was because no one could understand the stress I was in pulling the boat
Yeah.
down these.
We had a
narrow
brand new
roads.
boat and a brand new excursion.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Mom read the map wrong because she was. I remember her sprawl
Legitimately
the
had a
map
map,
like
yeah.
go around the whole dash.
Oh.
And I don't remember where we were going, but somehow.
Powell.
We're going
Lake Powell, yeah.
Powell, yeah.
And somehow she routed us through Zions, and the boat was too wide to even go through that tunnel.
Right.
So they had to bring out special people
And
to
shut
shut
it
the
down.
tunnel down so that we could even pull in, so that we could take up both lanes.
Because we had to go through
And then
the
there
middle.
was like sheer
yeah,
100-foot cliff edges.
Yeah.
And Dad's watching the
Hanging
mirror. He's told me the
tires.
story. He's watching
Yeah,
the
is it-
mirror, and it's going
and
over
the-
the yellow line.
And the boat tire, yeah. And he's like, that's
and
all.
these super switchbacks.
Yeah, he's like, and
Oh.
no
So he
one
was
understood
freaking.
the situation is, and I was very mad. He's like, and then the other time was she gave a gobstopper to one of us.
Oh, it's
Braden, I think.
No,
Tanner.
it's
It always
Oh.
switches. Dad's like, I
clearly
think,
don't know.
It always switches.
I remember.
thought it was
at
me.
Fort Bridger.
I thought it was me
It
too.
was
It
Tanner
was at
Carter.
Fort Bridger,
Yeah.
Wyoming.
And
Yeah.
someone said, "Hey, Mom, can I give someone, Carter, Tanner, whoever the heck,
I think
a
I gave you the
gobstopper?"
gobstopper. I think I gave you the gobstopper.
And she said, "Oh yeah, I don't know, I don't remember it." But she was just, and then they're like, yeah, sure, go for it. And then I choked, or one of us choked, and
Yeah.
then Dad was like, "Hey, totally."
He
I
got it
also-
out. I remember him doing the picking up and the
Slap on
thumping.
the back.
Oh yeah.
Well,
launched
didn't
out.
Mom accidentally drop one of you on
Somebody,
your head?
yeah, at the
In
zoo.
Lagoon, I thought it was.
No,
It
it was
It
day
was either
after I was
at the
born on the
zoo.
4th of
Oh
July.
yeah, it was at the
Oh.
beach, the Laguna Beach.
Jake says the day after he was born on the 4th of July.
No. I went to the 4th of July parade the day after, but it was
Yeah.
at Lagoon when I was in my thing, and it fell off because
Yeah,
Braden got
so
out of the
the
stroller,
car
and I
seat.
launched
Yeah.
out of the stroller, and I
yeah.
was in the car seat and just suspended,
Just
like
fell.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I
Heck
remember
yeah.
Dad being angry about that. Like,
Backing-
just scared. Made him scared.
Well,
One
you
other-
remember him telling you about that because
right.
you were.
Because I wasn't.
You were
Yeah.
not even-
exactly.
You had
You
to
were
come out
still
of
a
his
twinkle
uterus,
in
yeah.
Dad's
Yeah.
eye.
I hadn't exactly. Yeah. Oh man, I've heard too many details about how I was conceived.
Really? I don't know.
Whoa, yeah, I haven't got
I
any
don't know
details
if
on
Dad
mine.
told me that they read a
Classic-
book, and he's
classic
like, I
Lane
really had
overshare.
to
Oh, to have a girl?
shoot deep for you. Is
Oh,
what Dad
gross!
Told me.
Wow.
Classic
It's all
Lane.
about the angle.
Sorry,
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Classic
Anyway,
Lane over.
Mom
No,
it's
it's
just stand on her head for a while.
It's
after
mathematics.
that.
It's mathematics at that point.
I thought of another memory also is that Mom
Yeah, they
and
call it
Dad,
the bank shot.
Mom and Dad
So I got Eloise.
used to come into my bedroom at night and they'd sing me to sleep. That was always really nice.
Yeah, I
That's why I
remember
love the
singing
lullaby
that.
song.
You're the
Yeah,
most
and
difficult child.
that's probably true. And Mom would always sing the
Good night,
song.
my angel.
No.
Now
I sing that
She
tonight.
always,
Yeah, I
she
love
used
it.
to sing
She'd
brown
sing-
paper
That's
packages.
Oh,
the
yeah,
one that you
I
taught
sing
your
that
kid-
too.
I sing
Yeah.
that to Teddy every night.
I don't
That's
know
from
what
the
it's
Sound
called.
of Music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd sing that to me. And
She'd always
I
sing
remember
Slipknot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The mask on
She'd
or
always
without?
come in full face paint, and it's like
She's juggling
bedtime already.
Well, last question, and then we'll wrap it because I know we guys go. But like,
Oh yeah.
in terms of adulthood and how it's affected our lives, even until now,
All right, I'll take this one.
how do you think it has?
So it's not been great.
All right. Well,
Well, that wraps it up.
that's the
Let's go.
first. That's the first episode.
No, it's
Gotta leave
definitely
the
tough,
cliffhanger.
man. I mean, raising my own family now, imagining my wife not being there to take care of my beautiful children and me for that sake, for all of that. I mean, it's huge. My Kylie is huge for me, and she's great to my kids. And how my dad managed to keep food on the table and
Be there for us emotionally.
all five of us being as
sane.
needy as we are, and
Yeah.
it's pretty remarkable, to be honest. And so that's a big thing that I think about all the time. Like, I mean, I tell people that mom's dead or whatever, and I tell them that it's been 16 stinking years, and they're all kind of in disbelief, and you don't really think about it until you're in those shoes, and you're like, man, how would things be different? What type of person would I be had I still had this influence from this wonderful woman who lays beneath us here and is taking a lot of the blunt of the joke today. But
The blunt.
the brunt.
The brunt.
Oh,
Blunts on the mind.
I'm ready to go home. It's definitely that time of the day for me.
Yeah,
But
I think
that's part of it. I miss her because I'd love to have her input and her her side and interpretation of
A
what
mother's
life
input.
is.
Yeah, mother. Yeah, it really is.
It's like
when you
nothing
think of
else.
how much influence your wife has on your kids and my wife has on my kids,
Teddy won't even. Teddy, I mean,
he wouldn't even be able to walk if you were
Yeah.
raising him by himself.
Right, but no, I mean,
By
like Teddy is.
You know how to
who
ride
he
a dirt
is
bike.
because of Kylie, and everything he does is Kylie. He wants Kylie to do everything, so it's
Yeah.
always mom, total mama's boy. I feel like we probably were at some juncture mama's boys. I mean, she was our mom. Especially us older brothers here.
Well, we hung out with her all the time.
You know,
Like she
and-
was a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
We were at home with mom a lot.
Right. Well, but I mean, like as far as like yes man goes, if you wanted something that you didn't have to really fight for, you go talk to dad.
Yeah.
But and so mom was always one to shut it down, but she was like the structure of the whole shindig. So I feel like that's the same as it is now. So I feel like that is missing now. There's a lot of our backbone of our family that has kind of gone kaput that we've tried to engineer differently, but it'll never be the same. Never be the same as the OG Madre.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and you don't think of the question until you have your own kids.
Totally.
But you think of
Huge,
like
huge
you know
perspective.
grandma, right? I mean, think of what your mom would be like interacting with Teddy or with Eloise, your 2 kids, or with my 3 kids. We'll never get to see that. My kids will never know,
Yeah.
what it's like to have that kind of a relationship. I mean, they have Courtney's mom, obviously, but I think having a traditional cliche grandma and grandpa, they've been married forever, they have the same house that I grew up in, like they'd still be in that house in Wanship.
Yep.
We'd go their home on Sundays. I mean, it's easy to think of what would have been. I mean, things could have gone terribly wrong too. I mean, so you have to frame it correctly, but I do think, from just my kids having a grandparent perspective, and Courtney meeting mom. Courtney and mom would have
Kylie
got
too.
along great.
Yeah.
They would have hung out all the time. They would have done girls trips together. Like I see that on social media sometimes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, that's cool.
No, it
People,
definitely
like,
plays a
girls'
factor.
trips, yeah.
Definitely plays a factor in relationships. Yeah, and it's just kind of weird for your significant other to not have the opportunity to meet your mom. Like,
Yeah.
it's just weird.
Yep.
That's true.
And it's kind of hard to. I think it creates a layer of getting a connection with your family. For your significant other, just because the mom's usually the one to reach out and to invite you in and to be the sweet
and
one.
that's kind of missing for us.
Exactly.
So
it's
people
kinda
have to
hard.
go through me.
Or all of us.
To all of
you
your
guys.
all of your dismay.
Deal with all of our crap,
Oof.
but
I didn't
Yeah.
get approval
Yeah.
for Kylie through Braden, just so you know.
Yeah. And how well's that worked out? No, just
Very
kidding.
well.
Just kidding.
yeah, no, I think I'm very grateful for the experience that it's taught all of us. I think, and
That's what's made this possible.
I would say I think
Right.
I mean I think we were always pretty close, but definitely, and to Dad's credit, to the man's credit, who we love and appreciate, he doubled down on his love and affection and emotional availability to all of us, and we always felt we had someone to talk to. And I think because he did that, instead of popping a couple of Zolofts or whatever the antidepressant of the time was and going into a dark room for the rest of his life, which was an option, because he totally walked the other direction from that, I think we were all able to overcome to a pretty healthy degree to be able to do this. And I'm glad we can. I'm glad we can talk about it. I'm glad that it's more of a celebration of what we did get with her than, life sucks.
yeah,
And
no,
everything
I think
sucks.
Dad was definitely one of the few guys who could have done that too.
Yeah.
I always think about it the other way. What if Dad would have died? Do you think Mom could
I
have?
know. I thought the same thing.
Or would she would have been an emotional wreck or something? I just interesting.
No, I think Mom had a proper head on her shoulders too.
Yeah, I think
she
she
would have
would've
been
done
plenty of
good.
structure just the
Right.
same.
Maybe that's why we hit the lottery and both parents, and they're like, one of them's got to
Yeah,
go.
it's too good. Oh, I think that all the time. It's like things are going way too well for me right now.
Yeah, sap.
She's 30. She's got 9 good years left.
I would say that.
Yeah, I can't even think about that. Like,
So
Yeah, I always think I
so
reference this all the
depressing.
time, and I think about that video where the guy says he only had 2 bad days in his life, and he talks about there's a story about a guy and one of his parents dies on one day, and then a couple years later his other parents die, and I have that same kind of thing. I already feel like my bad thing happened in my life, so I don't think anything else is
you're-
bad going to
you're
happen.
clear.
I think we're immune, but that's so foolish to think because we're probably all going to die on the car ride home or something.
think what you think. I mean,
That's awful.
if that's what helps you sleep at night, I don't think any of it's predetermined.
Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah.
I think it's been hard as the only girl of all brothers to be.
Here we go.
To be
Oh,
momless.
jeez.
No, I'm
Freaking
just
women
kidding.
lie.
I'm just kidding. I'm
You
just
guys.
Yes, you're-
exactly. Case
No.
in point.
But that's the problem. We joke sometimes to a fault, but go.
That's what. Well, I'm just saying, and I'm gonna get emotional, but I think it's hard to grow up as an only girl without a mom figure that you feel comfortable with, I guess, for lack of other words. But I am very, very fortunate to have the relationship with my brothers that I do, and to have a dad that loved me and was a mom and a dad for me growing up.
Such a feminine dad.
Yeah.
He is pretty
Yeah.
feminine,
It
which
is
a
weird
great
that he
thing.
still
Gets
Very-
pedicures.
puts lipstick on.
and the wig.
He doesn't wear, he wears
To
those
sleep
heels
in.
around.
Yeah. I wish he'd take those stilettos off
Yes.
when he
Has that
cooks.
kimono.
Yeah.
True-
No, I'm sure that.
Yeah, that is hard, L, and that's a perspective none of us have.
That
for sure.
is.
Dad's never had a period.
And I luckily got but Dad.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing though. Dad's great about talking about periods and
Yeah,
that
that's-
stuff.
That
you
is
know?
a
that was I
bummer.
was never afraid.
He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's,
I hear that happens.
No.
You read the back of the tampon box. It tells you how to put them in.
Yeah, that's,
No, I remember that very distinctly too, that memory, and it was an awkward time.
With Dad?
Yeah, well, I started my period and I didn't know what was happening. I was freaking out, and I went up to talk to Dad.
Did you not have friends?
No, well, not that I wanted.
Not
that I
period
talked
friends.
about-
not period friends.
Jessica, have you hit your period yet? Yes, I did.
They weren't
great.
They weren't blood
When I was
sisters
8.
yet.
No, not that I talked to that stuff. I don't know. I feel like I had too many. Anyway, that's another story. But I went up to talk to Dad about it because I was scared, and he was with Nicole, and I didn't really want to tell her. I just wanted to tell Dad, but I didn't feel like I could ask for him to come talk to me privately. So yeah, I remember telling them about it, and Nicole thought I was acting so cute, and I was straight up panicking, bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I'm dying. There's blood coming out of me.
Your uterus
Yes.
is finally woken.
You're a real woman now. But yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
remember that pretty distinctly. That was a weird experience.
Yeah. That's definitely it's
Something I've never taken into
I
consideration.
haven't either. I haven't either
yeah.
thought of that much. Or I mean, I haven't. I've thought of you and Dad and Mom and how it changed, but you don't think about all those things. So
Being
It's
a
crazy.
The second child has had a lot similar, very similar effects.
Tiniest piano.
Yeah.
I mean violin.
I think we all dealt. Like I found Courtney pretty quickly after Mom died, and she totally plugged a huge emotional hole for me. Like she's been my
More than that.
yeah yep.
I don't think it's Courtney doing the blogging.
Yeah, she.
You never know, Ken. It's 2019.
She was super helpful in my. I mean, but that's why like leaving on the mission. The 2-year departure was a difficult thing for me because it was. I think I was like leaving Mom again. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like
That makes
it was
sense.
ripping another appendage
yeah.
from my body. But anyway, I think I definitely became a little more independent because of Mom going away, and then
Yeah.
I wasn't like at home as much. I was with Courtney, and I kind of built a couple of
Definitely
like
something that I feel like I've got. My independency came very
Yeah,
quickly.
Like all
yeah.
of us had to.
We all grew up
Yeah.
very fast.
Yeah, very much so.
well.
Hopefully we push the record button.
Yeah, hopefully we push the record button and that nothing's turned off. And
It is 2 p.m., my friends.
happy August 28th.
Wednesday, my dudes.
And
Yeah, 50.
it's only 11:10.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, happy August 28th, 2019 from 2003.
You're gonna watch this back, and Mom's gonna be just standing in the back.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just
I wonder if there's been orbs.
I
this
thought
whole
the
time.
same
I'm
thing. It's like
wondering
you're just
that,
going to see
too.
this weird shadowing effect.
Or we're
behind
just
the
gonna
whole
turn
time.
around.
Yeah.
There's like a freaking crowd of zombies behind
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
We're
what's
just
going
gonna watch
on?
this
All
over
eating
and-
popcorn.
Everyone's over at Polly's grave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grandma
Hang
and
out.
Grandpa Wardrop are right there.
I
I've
was gonna
searched
tell
back there
you,
numerous
Brayden.
times.
You were
You'll
gonna-
see.
Yeah, when Dad and I were just going to the storage unit recently, I found a bunch of your old missionary letters, and one of them I read, and it talked about how you were giving a talk at church, and one of the elders came up to you later, an older gentleman, and he's like, "Did you notice while you were speaking that your head was tilted the whole time?"
Ooh, man, this is a story for
Your
another
head was
day.
tilted
Yeah.
the whole time?
Oh, this is weird.
It was a letter that Brayden had wrote Dad. He's like, "Yeah, did you realize your head was tilted to the
Yeah.
left a little bit the whole time you're speaking?" And Brayden, he said in the letter, he's like, "I didn't," but then when I thought back on it, he realized that I was, and he told me later,
I
he's like,
remember this.
"Your mom was there, standing beside you the entire time."
Yeah, that guy later got released and kicked out of the MTC for doing a bunch of weird stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
EMT
but
mainly.
I'll leave him nameless. But it was a spiritual moment for me. Granted, I think there was a lot of things going on when you're in the bubble of the MTC, as you can attest.
Right.
You're kind of conditioned to feel a lot of things, which is not a bad thing. It's a
No.
great thing.
Yeah.
But
It's
like
all open.
you're receptive to anything, and
Yeah.
I do remember that. And my head was tilted, and he said, "I saw your mom was putting your head on her shoulder."
Yeah,
That's-
right.
The
and
drugs they
and I
give
do
you-
remember that, and I do remember my head being like awkwardly kinked. I can still remember
Uh-huh.
that.
Oh,
that.
that is
Did
creeping
you have
me
to sleep
out.
with your missionary companion?
Well,
right
I
before?
think you and I said too, Ellie. Didn't you and I both have some weird?
Yeah,
see Mom after
the
death
sitting
experience?
I
on the
did.
couch
And so
thing
did I. And
Yeah.
you told me about it randomly the same
the
night.
next day,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I made mine up.
Yeah,
I
delirium's
think
a real
I remember
thing
doing
at
the
a certain
same
time
thing.
of
Like,
night.
oh, you guys saw her? Me too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
She
saw
was
her.
back in her face paint singing
No,
to
but the
sleep.
crazy part is Ellie was only what 7, and I am 16.
System of a Down.
And you told me, so you came into my room or something, and you were like, "I saw Mom sitting on the edge of my bed, and she had a blue line around her."
Yeah, I do remember this.
And
very
I was like,
distinctly.
"Oh my gosh, so did I."
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I still feel like I made it up, but I was like, she was sitting on the edge of my bed, and she had a blue line around
She
her.
was, like outlined in
Like that
blue.
was your
Yeah.
7-year-old description, but I was like, "That's what freaking happened."
I
And she
remember.
didn't say anything. She just kind of looked at me
She's
like,
there.
"Everything's good," is what I felt.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe we
Yeah,
we
so
needed
that.
to see that for something.
Yeah, what
But
the
there you
heck?
go.
I've never.
Maybe there's a
seen any
blue line mother behind us.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Just you'll see
Our
her.
It's or it's turned to a red line because
Yeah.
she's in hell.
Yeah. Do we have any? I want to remember I want to hear what her voice sounded like. We need to find
Yeah.
some videos.
Well, Dad had that stupid little fanny pack with that tiny little video camera
Yeah.
everywhere we went. So I know that on
There's-
some tape
there's
somewhere.
tapes
yeah,
it exists.
I would really like to see that.
I would too. I would definitely cry on that though.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
did I.
Oh,
I
which
know,
is weird
finding
because
her
you
journals
still
with her
cry.
handwriting
Yeah,
is-
handwriting.
is,
Finding anything like I gave my kids that snowsuit.
Yeah.
That Nora has.
Wardrop written
It says Wardrop in it.
All
and
of us
I
wore.
totally know when it's Mom's handwriting.
Well,
Oh, that's
even
right.
looking through the trough of photos that I have at my house, every single label is written with her, handwriting.
That
Mhm.
kind
Very
of cursive.
sideways, perfect.
Yeah, very pretty. It looks printed almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she had
great,
good handwriting.
great handwriting.
Anyway.
Yeah, that girl could have wrote some stuff down.
You know she did. Shopping lists, like other lists, Christmas lists.
All right, should we wrap it up?
All right, we'll wrap it up. Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom.
Thanks for all you did. And till next year.
Yeah. We'll see you then.
Or next week, depending on how our podcast takes off.
Yeah, or depending on, who's depressed this week. Someone might be sleeping here.
Yeah, we're just going to leave the couch.
Everyone comes here kind of on their own time to sit here and likes to blame any problem they might be experiencing because of lack of motivation, and procrastination, etc. And be like, why did you have to die? It's your fault.
I haven't been here for 3 years
I
because my
haven't
life has been so good.
I haven't been here for a while either.
I was here this week.
I was here a couple of days ago, too.
You guys are
But that was just to smoke meth.
Yeah, my heroin
great
dealer
meth
lives
spot.
right over
Yeah.
there.
Oh my god.
Guy
Yep.
next door.
Okay, that's it.
Too much.
Wrapping.
Wrap it.
Let's get all this crap out of here.
Scene.
Where's my raisins at?
All right, guys. See you later.
See you, bro.
Take the garbage out and grab my tank.
Hey, get the generator too, you chorker. You
Nah.
gonna need
Don't
that.
you need it?
Bring it to
Please
work.
tell me you hit record, Braid. Oh, lens cap was on, dudes.
Either way, I gotta redo it when I do. The lens cap was on.
They did a good job by planting that, probably.
Oh, my body is so sore.
My mind's telling me no.
But my